This is breaking news from RTV6, working for you.
Now at 6, breaking news, the Indianapolis 500 has been postponed. IndyCar says the 104th running will happen August 23rd instead of May 24th due to the coronavirus pandemic.
We are also finding out the GMR Grand Prix has been rescheduled to July 4th, the day before the Brickyard 400. The Grand Prix was originally supposed to be run on May 9th. All concerts scheduled for the original weekend have been canceled, including REO Speedwagon and Styx, Luke Bryan, and Martin Garrix.
The Indianapolis 500 is the latest event to change course because of the coronavirus.
Already, the NBA has suspended its season, so there are no Pacers games right now, and the NCAA canceled March Madness.
Amanda and I are even physically separated in places different because of the threat of COVID-19, so it is impacting everyone.
Let's get right to sports director Dave first. He's with IndyCar superstar Scott Dixon talking about the impact of moving the Indy 500. Dave.
The 2008 Indy 500 champion, five-time series champion, Scott Dixon joins us. Initially, I guess we all thought this was going to happen at some point. Now that you have a date, what were your thoughts on the change for the 500?
I think a great move, by NTT IndyCar Series and obviously, IMS. It's as we were discussing, what's normal these days. It's been pretty crazy. So, I think we wanted to make sure, or they wanted to make sure that, come later in the season or later in the year too, with what's been going on, that 300,000+ people want to sit that close to each other. So it's definitely a change that we've never seen before, but excited. I think that and the timeline and what they've done with the calendar is pretty cool.
Yeah, let's talk about that. A doubleheader with NASCAR, the Xfinity Series on the road course, July 4th of all days at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That makes up for the GMR Grand Prix in May. I'm telling you what, there's been a lot of talk about a doubleheader with NASCAR for a long, long time. To pull it off at Indianapolis, I think is actually pretty cool.
I kind of figured that's where it was going to happen. I think everybody was kind of talking maybe Charlotte Roval or something like that. But I think with Roger and the shift with the series and the Speedway, I think it's perfect, man.
Most importantly, how are you and the family dealing with all this? Just like the rest of us, obviously cooped up inside.
I'm doing great. I think it's hard when you're like, oh, we've only been just over a week, but it almost feels like a month or two. So I think that's hard. Emma's added to my my daddy do list. It's not very long and probably a lot of run over from last year of stuff that I didn't get to do. But it's been fun. I think we tried to keep it lighthearted. In the international school did a fantastic job with going straight to e-learning with the two girls. So they've been still in class from 8:30 to 2:30 or 3 in the afternoon, and it's been fun to be home with Kit. He turned 3 months last week, and he's sleeping through the night. So starting to get some rest, man. It's all good.
Can't wait to see you on a real racetrack. Thanks so much, Scott Dixon.
Looking forward to it, man. Cheers.
All right, we may have heard a few rumbles of thunder out there this afternoon and this evening, especially north and south of Indianapolis. Things are fairly quiet out there right now. You can see a few showers still around Marion and Portland, Indiana, but we have that marginal risk of a few stronger storms, possibly with some hail. I think this is a very isolated risk here as we go through the rest of the evening. You can see that mainly just some light rain showers will continue, mainly north of Interstate 70 here over the next few hours. We'll talk about those rain chances to round out the week in a few minutes. Mark?
We'll see you soon, Kyle. Thank you. Coronavirus, or COVID-19, continues to spread across Indiana, and we are now learning that 17 have died in the Hoosier State. That's 3 more lives lost than this time yesterday. The Indiana State Department of Health says at least 645 people have tested positive for the virus, including 293 from Marion County. The health department says more than 4,600 people have been tested in our state.
And all new at 6, 7 people who tested positive for COVID-19 at a senior living facility in Franklin were taken to hospitals. This happened late last night at Otterbein Senior Life Campus in Franklin. Mike Pruitt with the Johnson County Joint Incident Management Team says those patients had no too mild symptoms. Several fire departments and the senior living facility took the patients to Johnson Memorial Hospital, Community South Hospital, and Franciscan St. Francis Health. Pruitt says right now there are no other confirmed cases of COVID-19 at Otterbein Senior Life Campus.
Tonight, we are working to find out what is being done to protect those experiencing homelessness here in Indianapolis. On Wednesday, a man staying at Wheeler Mission downtown tested positive for COVID-19, potentially putting hundreds of others at risk. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum spoke with shelter leaders and has more on their next steps.
Leaders here at the Wheeler Mission say social distancing just isn't an option for them. They typically have more than 400 men stay here each night, so now they're working with the health department to find alternative solutions. Ed Smith is just one of hundreds of men who call Wheeler Mission home right now.
At first, when I first heard about the coronavirus, I wasn't taking it that serious. But since the guy had got tested positive and, you see all these so-called symptoms and stuff, yeah, I'm worried.
He says men staying here are some of the most vulnerable.
Being homeless, we go everywhere, and then we come back in at one place.
Leaders recognize that and tell us they've been doing health screenings at the door.
If need be, we take their temperature, and if need be, we'll isolate them and connect with the Board of Health.
Steve Kerr says the guest who tested positive had not been showing any symptoms until earlier this week. The man has since been isolated, and the Marion County Board of Health is working to identify and track down those he came in contact with.
Our objective right now is to mitigate risk as much as we can.
Kerr says Neighborhood Fellowship Church on East 10th Street is opening their doors for those in need. They will take in 50 men tonight. The Board of Health is also opening a shelter. They haven't released the exact location, but we know that will take in another 50 men, reducing the total number staying downtown by almost 25%.
I just want them to know that we're doing everything we can to protect them. We're doing everything we can to protect our staff. We understand the fear factor is there, and we want to make our facility as safe as possible.
Some men here say they're trying to do their part too.
So I try to best to keep my hands clean and washed and stay away from a lot of people as possibly as I can. I'll just continue to pray for these guys down here, myself, that we stay safe.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Well, we reached out to county health leaders for more information on shelters and protecting people staying there, but have not yet heard back.
And RTV6 is putting the focus during the pandemic on businesses that are still open and also those working together to help those who need it most in their community. Tonight, RTV6's Nicole Griffin is finding out how a local restaurant owner is trying to keep his staff employed while also finding ways to give back.
On a day like today, when the sun is shining and it is warm outside, the patio here at Wolfie's in Guys would typically be filled with customers, but right now there are just open tables. That is because the restaurant is only open for carry-out right now. We talked to the owners who are trying to find ways to keep their employees working.
I think in these times of troubles, it's amazing how the community and how everybody just pulls together.
Inside Wolfie's at Guys, the tables are empty. Employees are spending time cleaning and preparing for the time when they can once again welcome customers back inside.
I have a motto, it's positivity is contagious, so trying to stay positive and, think about the future.
Jeffrey Newsom is one of more than 300 employees at 7 different restaurants the owners are trying to keep employed while their business has been impacted dramatically due to the coronavirus. Employees are now delivering food and keeping busy with carryout orders. Owner Scott Wolf says only 10 have filed for unemployment.
Those 10, we're giving them meals to take home to their family. We can help them out. We're giving, basically all our employees a deep discount on food to feed their families.
They are also finding ways to work together and give back by holding blood drives and teaming up with Fueled for School, a Hamilton County program that focuses on eliminating hunger for students.
We had extra food. We had food that could have went bad, so we're like, let's not throw this away. Let's give it away.
With carryout and delivery keeping their doors open for now, Wolf is hoping he can keep these employees working for as long as possible.
I've been in the business for 30 years, never worked for anybody as thoughtful and caring as these owners.
Working for you and Geis, Nicole Griffin, RTV6.
Some City Market restaurants are saying we are open and we're in this together. Coming up, we'll show you how strength in numbers could help these businesses get through a tough few weeks.
And I'm Dave First. It's a whole new schedule for IndyCar, the Indy 500 as well. And oh, by the way, it sort of starts this weekend. Catching up with Tony Kanaan coming up here at RTV6.
Welcome back. This week, we've been shining a spotlight on some area restaurants that are staying open during the COVID-19 pandemic.
And downtown Indy's City Market has several vendors still taking orders, and some of them are teaming up for a unique customer service option. Brad Brown has a closer look.
Without the daily bustle of downtown, the vendors that are open inside Indianapolis City Market have had to come up with ways to keep business going. The result, teaming up for a cooperative effort to get food where it needs to go.
I was doing it just for me, and I told a few people about it, and they're like, well, can we jump on it? So it became our little City Market website.
Mike Gomez of Gomez Barbecue spearheaded the effort. His restaurant's website is now a hub to order from more than a half dozen City Market restaurants. And every day, Mike himself is ready to make the deliveries.
One of the customers wouldn't come out of the door, and I said, that's fine, no worries. And he sent me a message immediately after. He goes, that was so awkward, I'm sorry I didn't come out. And I was like, it's okay, dude, no worries. I understand completely. Like, just put a box out and we'll drop it off next week if you want some next week.
We've been leaving an envelope taped on the door, and then we just leave it at their doorstep and ring the doorbell and run. So just kind of coming up with creative ways. It's amazing how something like this will make you get very creative in how to stay in business.
Each day of the week, a different neighborhood is on the schedule, but in times like this, the crews here are ready to make it happen any day they can.
It's absolutely a very supportive atmosphere and environment right now. We're all trying to make sure that we all see each other and remain in business through this.
Check out the deliveries. Go to the places you love that are still delivering and still doing curbside.
So until you can once again come to the market, for now, a bit of the market can come to you. Working for you downtown, Brad Brown, RTV6.
And certainly some nice temperatures to get outside, although some of us have been dealing with some rain. We've got dry conditions, 64 in Indy, but 54 with some rain in the Kokomo area and 65 in Bloomington. You had some rain move through earlier, but you can see on Storm Team 6 radar, things are fairly quiet. We've got just a few light rain showers lingering here around Marion, Newcastle, Anderson, and into Muncie as well. But I think the additional threat for thunderstorms is very low as we go through the evening hours, and those temperatures are going to be staying mild. We're still in the middle 50s even as we get to 10 o'clock tonight, and I think we'll have lows right around 50 degrees. Friday morning, though, we get back into those rain chances, possibly a few rumbles of thunder here as we go into your Friday morning. So if you are going to be out there, do have to drive into work, going to need the rain gear, the umbrella, the windshield wipers going in good order here. We'll have a lot of dry time on Friday, but as we get into the evening, a few more of those showers will return, and there is a marginal threat across the state that some of those storms could have some hail. I think that would be more the exception than the rule. And then on Saturday, you can see that marginal threat over the western portion of the state. Temperatures, they remain mild, though. As we go throughout our Friday, we'll find numbers that start off around 50, getting back into the middle 60s, even as we've got some of that rain around the area. So above average at 64 in Bloomington. A little cooler for you, but still above the average mark here as we get into Muncie and Richmond at 58. 7-day planning forecast, those temperatures surging into the 70s for the first time this year on Saturday. It does again come with that chance for showers and storms, but there's going to be some dry time. It's also going to be a breezy day. It will also be breezy on Sunday as we have that small chance for a few showers into the morning, and then temperatures getting a little bit cooler here, but still not bad as we get through much of next week. We're talking about those highs in the 50s and occasional chances for some rain. As we go through the next couple of days, many areas looking at about 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. Mark?
All right, Kyle, edging closer to April. Thank you. A new date for the Indianapolis 500 and, frankly, a new way of doing things for IndyCar drivers, and a race season which technically begins Saturday. All a part of this new reality we are living. Day first with the Sports Extra Spotlight tonight.
He won the 2013 Indy 500. All told, he's driven in 18 of them. Arguably, no one knows more about how special the tradition of May is. From his Indianapolis home, Tony Kanaan says tradition can wait under the coronavirus circumstances.
The 500 is the biggest single-day event in the world. You can put almost 400,000 people in there, so it didn't make sense. So to me, I'm not surprised. I think the whole world is facing it. I'm extremely baffled that we didn't actually cancel the whole thing. Look with the Olympics and people canceling everything, so we're still going to have it. So that's awesome.
Until then, he's doing what he can to stay race ready. Typically, these are the images we see with Tony and every other IndyCar driver. But given the times, his current race car is located just behind his shoe closet in his house.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm talking about this.
When he straps on his boots now, he's driving a simulator just purchased to take part in IndyCar's iRacing event on Saturday.
I'm biting my own tongue because I always said that I was never going to get a sim for my house because I just know myself.
How long are you going to be on this now?
How long I've been, you mean?
The former IndyCar champ preferring to spend time with his family when he's home, and he'd like to keep it that way. Saturday's race will be shown on IndyCar.com.
I think the most important thing, it's for the fans.
Yeah.
You know, I think the sport only exists because of the fans.
It's expected to have a high tune-in as Kanan and 24 others will compete in this virtual world, the first of a 6-event schedule. And one day soon, we'll be back to the real thing on a real track, including the Indy 500.
I always try to take a positive spin out of any negative situation. So to me, there is more time that we all spend at home. We will be different when we come out of this. I think each one of us will be very different.
Perhaps virtual or not, it's the real reality. Day first, RTV6 Sports.
All right, we got a spring feel the next few days here with high temperatures in the 60s and even the 70s with occasional chances for a few rain and thunderstorms there. As we go into next week, though, a little bit cooler.
Well, thanks for making RTV6 your choice for news. Join us again for the news at 7.